Oh, hey there.
What is up, you guys? This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be ranking Kitty Pryde out of 100. So, this is going to be out of 10 different areas she's going to be scored in. So, the 10 different areas are going to be her damage output, meaning her just general damage, her survivability, versatility, AOE effectiveness, meaning AOE damage or just AOE abilities in general. Her single target effectiveness, meaning primarily boss damage, resource consumption, crowd control effectiveness, trials, farming effectiveness, support effectiveness, and then the total score. So for her damage output, so this is just her general damage for anything and everything. I gave her a solid 100 on that. The reason why I gave her a 100 on that is because both her phasing and her Lockheed damage can both do really good damage. Her Lockheed, one of her talents lets Lockheed do 100% brutal damage, or brutal strike chance, and also increase damage for Lockheed by 100%. But her phasing, when you use two abilities, Lit gives her 80% more crit damage. And not just that, but her Quicksand also does a lot of damage. Her signature alone does a lot of damage, 6 hits, and it just does massive damage with those 6 hits. And yeah, that's mainly why I gave her 100. Her phasing and her Lockheed damage output can just dish out a lot of damage. Her survivability, I gave her a 100 on that as well because she's one of the only characters that can actually become immune to all damage for a couple seconds. But not just that, she has about 4 abilities that lets her become invulnerable. And then one of her abilities that lets her be invulnerable for 6 seconds also heals her as well over time while she's invulnerable. So that right there alone just lets her, that increases her survivability even more. The next thing would be her versatility. So for her versatility, I gave her an 85. The reason why I gave her an 85 is because although her Lockheed does put out a lot of damage, or somewhat good damage, her phasing build puts out even more damage, making it to where it's a pretty one-sided build. In my opinion, it's a pretty one-sided build. Like I said, her Lockheed does pretty decent damage, but if anything, you're gonna use only maybe 1 or 2 Lockheed abilities. But most of your abilities are gonna be focused around using your phasing builds. So that's why I gave her an 85, because she's not saying she's not versatile. She is fairly versatile. It's just she's going to be focused more primarily on her phasing build. And then for her AOE effectiveness, I gave her a score of 90. The reason why I gave her a 90 on her AOE effectiveness is because she does have nice AOE, but it's a small AOE. It's not a huge radius like someone like Storm or Scarlet Witch. It's just like mid-range. She's in a mid-ranged, close range to mid-ranged damage dealer for AOE, which is why she got a 90, because it still counts as AOE. She has a lot of AOE abilities, but it's just all mid-ranged AOE. And then for her single target effectiveness, I gave her a 95.
Well.
The reason why I gave her a 95 on single target effectiveness is because she can dish out heavy damage, regardless to it being AoE or single target. So with her, like I said, with her AoE being mid-ranged, her single target still does a ton of damage. She has 2 abilities that do single target damage, mainly on single targets. She has one that's called Logan Style, I believe, and then Heartbreaker. Yeah, so Logan Style and Heartbreaker. Both of those are single target abilities that can dish out nice damage. And then her Quicksand alone can still put out heavy damage. With the way I have my Kitty Pryde set, she's able to hit up to about 200k with quicksand on brutes, obviously only on brutals, but that alone, that's every 5 hits she's able to hit 1 mil, and it's 1 hit per second or two hits per second. So yeah, and then her signature too is really good for both AOE and single targets, which is why I gave her a 95. So for her resource consumption, I gave her a 90 on that. The reason why I gave her a 90 is because if you're using a full phase build, mainly you will be using a phase build, and using phasing abilities doesn't take up any Lockheed's resource, whatever that one's called, the Lockheed's energy. It won't take up any of that. The only thing that will take Lockheed's energy are obviously going to be the Lockheed abilities. So if you're not using a full phase build, then or phasing build, then you're probably going to be using, obviously you're going to be using a Lockheed ability, which would more than likely be using Lockheed energy, and Lockheed energy or your Lockheed abilities will kind of use up a lot of Lockheed energy. So that's why I gave her 90, because I know not everyone's going to use a straight phase build. And then for her crowd control effectiveness, I gave her a 90 on that as well.
Can you teleport us anywhere, Kurt?
The reason why I gave her a 90
anywhere?
is because her quicksand alone reduces enemies' attack speed and movement speed by 50%, and it has no cooldown, and it doesn't use any resources for that as well. And then also for Watch Your Step, what Watch Your Step does is it brings enemies down into the ground, basically like a quick immobilize. It just brings enemies down into the ground and then brings them back up, doing damage, but again, it still does really nice, nice, I guess, crowd control. But that's the only two abilities that have crowd control. But the thing is, quicksand, it's forever. You can keep that slow on enemies for a long time, for as long as you hold down your quicksand. Because, like I said, there's no cooldown and there's no resource consumption for quicksand. And then for her trials, I gave her a 95. The reason why I gave her a 95 and not 100, it was a pretty close call to give her a 100 on that. But like I said, the only reason why I gave her a 95 is because I know there's a few people out there that has struggled with her, and she's not like a cut clear character where you can just go in and get it done. But most people that I have seen or met or just talked to, whatever, have told me that they were able to get Kitty Pryde's trials done in 1 to 2 goes. Like myself, I was able to get it in my first try as well. So that's why I gave her a 95 from personal experience and from what others have told me. And then for her farming effectiveness, I gave her a 90. The only reason why I gave her a 90 is because she can deal damage and she can kill bosses really quick. So she's like a good mixture of Scarlet Witch and Blade. But that's I would say only if she's geared out. If she's geared out, then she can farm bosses or operations probably the fastest out of any character. But then again, she has to be geared out in order to do that. And then for her support effectiveness, I gave her a 75 because she doesn't have any support abilities other than the fact that she can slow enemies down, which is part of her cooldown, crowd control. So other than that, I mean, she doesn't have any support abilities at all. So in total, she came up to a total of 91 points, being one of the higher characters as well. This doesn't make her the absolute best character. This just makes her one of the most well-rounded characters, in my opinion. Definitely one of the better damage dealers out there. So if you're looking for a character that is really strong, that can, pull their own weight, that can help a team out, or if you're a solo player, she's perfect for solo as well, due to the fact that she has high survivability and high damage. Then yeah, she's definitely a really, really, really good pick for most players. Especially since she's only 200 splinters. You should definitely pick her up if you're new to the game. Um, and yeah, that's basically it. If this video helped you at all, then go ahead and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any suggestions or anything or questions, go ahead and let me know down in the comment section, or you can ask me on my Twitter at alldannyday1. Um, that's basically it. Like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a like and sub. This is All Danny Day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.